Well, with BFA just over the horizon, let's talk about class order halls. Yeah, I know, that's a Legion thing. I know you're thinking, why are we talking about those? Yeah, it's just sort of a look back kind of thing. I figured, why not? I did a video back when they were announced, talking about how the class order hall, and compared to what it could be from our garrisons at that point in time. And the garrisons, in my opinion, are probably one of the worst things Blizzard has really ever done. I hated it. You always felt like you were stuck right there. Everything you needed was there. Convenience sake, when you built it up, it was good. But you never really got out and do anything. There's no need to half the time unless you're going to go to the raid. And then even that, you can get somebody to summon you if you just really didn't feel like walking out there. But, so, it was like class order halls. It's going to be Garrison 2.0. That could mean a number of things. It could be good, it could be bad. They could learn from their mistakes and make something better. And to be totally honest, I think they did. Class order halls were not that bad. Things that I said the Garrison needed. It needed a nap. Seriously, it felt like playing a Facebook game. And I don't know what Facebook games are like now. I don't really get on Facebook on the desktop very much. So I don't even know if they even have a game section anymore. But, back then it was sort of point and click things. Join the mafia or something. You become a mob boss and you buy these properties and it brings you income. You go in and collect the income. Then you buy units and then you have pseudo mock PvP battles with people and stuff like that. And you wait until your energy comes back, and kind of similar to a lot of these phone games. Actually, that actually makes a pretty good comparison right there. Anyway, it felt like playing a Facebook game. When it came to your garrison, you got on for one reason and one reason only. You were managing your dang garrison. You had to go back there and then collect all your missions, send all your followers back out, blah, blah, blah. Go to the mining section area, the mine up your stuff, go to the herb, get some herbs. And really, with that, they should have really had done something a little bit different. Like, instead of giving everybody access to the mine and, the herbs and stuff like that, they should have just given that to, say, players who have the profession herbalism or mining. And only they have access to it. So not everybody has access to it. And then maybe it wouldn't have screwed up the economy as much as it did on some servers. With everybody having access to basic materials and being able to actually go and do it, even though they don't have the profession. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about class order halls. What did class order halls do right? Well, for one, you didn't feel like you were stuck in it. I mean, heck, I know sometimes I really didn't want to go out of my way to go back to Dalaran and then head over to the Fellhammer. But it wasn't necessary that I had to, unless I really wanted to continue the quest line. It offered, its own story. You went and you did stuff. That was pretty cool. I mean, heck, we took the Fellhammer itself out and, attacked with it. During the quests, it was pretty nice. The amount of followers drastically reduced. I mean, heck, I like the fact that they reduced the follower count. I don't really remember how many followers there are at max. I think it was like 8, maybe 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think 8 total is what I wound up with. Maybe 9, I don't remember. But it was a far, far fewer number than it was. However, I did have a little bit of an issue where they only limited me to having 5 active followers. It's like, I'd like to send all these people off on these missions real quick. But I need like one extra follower. And then, of course, you can go in and I think there was an ability that you can upgrade the Fellhammer to give you that 6th active person and all this other stuff. And then, of course, if you're going to have one of them assigned, like in the slot to assist you while you're out in the world, whether it's a bodyguard or just an ability that will randomly trigger or something like that, also reduced one other person you could send on missions. So, with that, I like the fact that they reduced the follower count. It wasn't so much to manage. And, I mean, it was cool getting, like, Leroy Jenkins as a follower. That was cool and all. But having so many followers to manage and then raise up and then try to get armor and weapons and other things for and stuff like that was painful, I guess is the best way to put it. So reducing the number was great. However, I don't like how they handicapped now that they have only like, almost 10, 9, 7, and 9 followers. But now you also, you may have these few followers, but you still only get access to really 5 by default. Unless you take that little perk to give you an extra one. Didn't really care for that. I think they failed on that part. It was cool that they reduced the followers, but I should have been able to have access to all my followers to send on to missions. If I really wanted to send them on missions. To be totally honest, I didn't use the mission table that often with Legion. There's no real need to, other than the quests that require you to send your followers off on missions. So I would passively, because the other great thing is, they made it into an app. Wish the Garrison was like that. It'd be so much easier to mess with the Garrison if I didn't have to log in physically and deal with it and walk over here and then go over there. Managing it from your phone, so much easier. I can send my people on their little thing, and then I could go to work. And then a few hours later, pops up and says, hey, they finished. All right, go do this. Meanwhile, they're passively leveling themselves up, so when it gets to the point that, the Army of Light or whoever it was you get the quest from, is like, we need you to do these missions on the mission table, and you need the level 109s to send them off to do their little recon things. You got them when you need to. That was probably pretty much the only time I really used my table, was to just do the missions that I kind of had to progress the story. But hey, it was nice to have the fact that I could use the app and do everything. The app was definitely a great thing. It's one of the things that I said the Garrison needed. After the Garrison came about, started using the Garrison, I was like, this would be so much better if I didn't have to set foot into it. All I need is a dang app so I can control it from work, tell it what it needs to do, and only go when I absolutely need to go to the Garrison for something. I can then go out and do other things in the world. I didn't feel like I had to go and waste an hour of my time just managing everything in my Garrison, micromanaging everything in my Garrison at that point, and telling everybody what to do. And I didn't have to do that with my order hall, which was great. You had the missions and you had the scouting things you used the table for to get you to the zones that you needed to go to or wanted to go to. And they'd fly you down there because you're, up in Dalaran when you start. It's not like you could just straight up walk there. But of course, I guess you could if you wanted to. And if you're a demon hunter, you can glide to almost anywhere. And if you got a goblin thing that I can't remember what it's called right now, the gliders, the glider kit, you can glide anywhere, which was really cool. So, that was also a lot of fun. But, just the fact that you didn't have to be at your class hall. That was cool. And the class halls were unique in themselves, which was also really cool. And the fact that they were in the world, a lot of them. Like, for instance, the True Shot Lodge for the hunters. You could go up there in High Mountain and actually go to the lodge as another class. Then they're going to sit there and yell at you and say, hey, you're going to a place you shouldn't be, and then they teleport you out real quick. But it was still kind of cool that you could actually walk up to the path that walks up to the lodge. And the same with the druids. You could go up there and take that long path all the way up there where there's practically nothing there unless you're a demon hunter and you are doing that Illidan part of the quest chain that takes you up that path, which then inadvertently makes you find the Druid's Grove over there. And then they kick you out, of course, like all the others. But that was nice, it's sort of integrated into the world. And then, of course, if you are a Druid, you just go on up there with no problem. Or if you're a hunter, you just walk on up there without a problem. And, each one was unique. They all look different. The Druids look like, the Druids. And they had, like, this nice teleportation network of portals to different areas of the world of Azeroth. And I thought that was pretty neat. When it came to the Fellhammer, I didn't get that, unfortunately. I thought that was kind of not fair, but other order halls had their own other things as well. I go and leave the Fellhammer, and it puts me automatically back in Dalaran right there at the cliff. For me to either go glide back to the portal to the Fellhammer, or glide over and walk around Dalaran. But, it was pretty nice. And the location of how to get to some of these things wasn't that bad either. You go into the True Shot Lodge. You go talk to the guy next to the really big eagle up there on that main platform that everybody essentially teleports to when they teleport to Dalaran. Or behind them, anyway, when they teleport to Dalaran. And it takes you straight there. And unlike a flight path, which they could have done, make you sit there and watch yourself fly all the way over here, they give you a loading screen and pop you up right there with no problem, which was nice. I was afraid of that the first time I figured out that was going to happen, and I was like, oh no, am I going to have to watch this fly like a flight path? Because that really sucks. If I knew that was the case, I should have just flew over there from where I was. I think it would have been closer. But they don't. They treat them like all the others. And the Druids, they have if I remember correctly, they have a teleport straight to it. It's kind of like the teleport to, what is it, Moonglaive? It's been a while since I've been on my Druid. And, there's a few places they can just immediately teleport to. And then it will take them into sort of the Emerald Dreamwalk-like state, where they go through and there's several different portals leading to other things, and that was a nice little junction. So each one's had their own little thing. The Shamans had their own thing, the Warlocks had their own thing, and that was a nice addition. Instead of pretty much, here's your garrison, all the garrisons will look the same except for maybe a few buildings here or there, depending on which buildings you want. You may not have room enough for this particular building, so you may not build it, but somebody else will, because they've chosen not to take the building you took. Other than that, all of them look the same. There's no real uniqueness to it. And it was filled with people, of course, which was another nice thing. They were all people, and they were all, whatever your class, like, for instance, the Demon Hunters. You go through and you're doing those skills where you're building on to the Fellhammer, essentially. Little perks here and there, having an extra legendary, another active follower, stuff like that. Increasing the reserve units that you could purchase with the resources. And things where, they have one where you go into this thing, it gives you this super hard boss type thing. Kind of like a world boss. You go in and you can fight it. And then, you're there with other demon hunters, and guess what? They can do it too. They show up and you're all fighting the same world boss. Well, kind of world boss. I'm going to call it a world boss. Felt like one, kind of. Anyway, You know, and then you get some nice little cool things for beating it. You know, maybe an upgrade or something if you do this earlier in the expansion when you're lower level. And, you know, it was pretty nice. So, I guess, you know, the question is, were class order halls better? Absolutely. There's a lot of things that made them a lot better. You had the app. You had the fact that they were different depending on each class. They had class-specific ones. You could then fix it up, you know, perk-wise the way you want it to. They reduced the follower count, although they also limited you to only about 5 followers that could be active at any given time to actually do anything with, which was a little bit of a letdown. And there was a quest chain, essentially, with it, along with other quests from it as well, to help you go through and go out and do stuff that wasn't just always send followers on X mission, they'll be back in 6 hours, then turn in quest. Yes, that was in the quest chain, where there was like 3 or 4 or 5 things they wanted you to do by using the follower table, but that wasn't the whole thing. I mean, heck, you know, the whole thing with Illidan, they have you go out and you sort of see Illidan becoming, you know, where he was and all that good stuff and building up, and you go to 3 or so different locations to do it. And it was nice. And then you all storm into battle together. And you go to Argus. And you start assaulting the Legion from there. But, all in all, Class Order Halls was Garrison 2.0. And this was a 2.0 that was definitely better than its original incarnation. But I guess that's about all I got to say on that one. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Did you think that the class halls were an upgrade from the Garrison system? Or are you in the camp of, I hated the Garrison, I also hated the class halls, therefore I will always hate this system? And, let me know about that down in the description below as well. The comments down below, if maybe you just really, really hate it. Because unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the table's going to be here to stay for a while. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, it's already in BFA. So how they handle the things around it, that is the thing we have to, I guess, more or less hope is better than having to stare at this table all day. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you later. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.